Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and today we'll be reading 3 weight loss stories from r/lose it that I hope will help you stay on track, or if you're off track right now, to give you some hope. Like and subscribe for more videos, and check out our merch store in the description below. You are someone else's goal weight. Is anybody else a victim of the comparison trap? If not, consider yourself lucky. But I know there are lots of us out there by the number of posts that begin with something like, I get so discouraged seeing how much others have progressed when I haven't, or I think I look okay and then I get stuck next to some skinny person on the subway. That last one is me. I can be having a great day, one of those rare ones where I actually feel attractive, then some girl with longer legs and thighs that don't touch and a stomach that doesn't pooch when she sits, and I suddenly feel bad again. I suddenly see nothing about myself except my weight. I never realized how hard I was on myself until I started going to therapy a few months ago to deal with some stuff I've needed to deal with for years. Commitment issues, codependency, etc. I hadn't anticipated that my low self-esteem would be uncovered as the culprit behind so many of my unhealthy habits. It's such a cliche, but I've learned that if I don't love myself now, I won't later just because I'm thinner. That doesn't mean you won't or shouldn't be proud of your progress. It just means that placing your self-worth in the hands of a scale is risky business. So many things can affect it. Medication, injury, illness, pregnancy, stress, the amount of water in your body, that there is simply no stability in that. I don't want to wind up on that kind of roller coaster. When I joined the sub a few days ago, I got bummed pretty quickly to see that so many people had so much less to lose than me or were so much further along. But since then, I have also noticed that there are people starting here who are 100 pounds or more heavier than me and who would be thrilled just to get to my weight. I don't know if that's encouraging to anyone else or if maybe I have a weird way of looking at things, but seriously, don't wait to be thinner to feel good about yourself. There are so many people who would love to be starting their journey where you are, wherever that may be. I see people all the time that are my current height and weight, or even less, that can't go another day like this, or are disgusted by what I see in the mirror in the morning. Real quotes, I remember them. I lost 130 pounds to be someone else's starting weight. There's this common delusion, grass is always greener. Everyone else lives a happy, perfect life. If I just fix this one thing, my life will be better. Fact is, we live on the inside. We live in the darkest places deep inside ourselves. You walk about in the wide world, but every moment you do is just peeking out of the deep well of yourself. This is why I say that the real journey is knowing yourself. If you do, the deepest, darkest parts of you can be drenched in sunshine, full of passion and joy, and not just sadness and angst. You can pull back into your well and safety, and then turn on the lights and settle into the comfort of yourself. I live my life and not anyone else's. I know what makes me happy, what my passions are. I know what is deep in my well in all the darkest corners. What journeys others have for themselves will not be measured in pounds. That is but one small part of this life. And that brings us to our next story, how losing 101 pounds in 11 months changed my life for the better. Female 31, 5'7", 283 pounds to 182. Obligatory before and after pics. The past 11 months have been a pretty wild ride. On 3/31/18, I tipped the scales at 283 pounds. I was clearly aware I was fat, but on that day, something snapped. I realized I needed to check myself before I wrecked myself. I had not developed any serious weight-related illnesses, but I knew my luck was running out. On that day, I decided to limit myself to 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day. Since I do not respond well to having certain foods off limits, I chose a CECO approach that allowed me to eat whatever I wanted as long as it was within the budget. Sure, this means that some days a quarter of my intake might be candy, but generally I follow a diet focused on protein and veggies with a sprinkling of complex carbs. The actual diet part has been easy. The mental stuff is so much harder. I didn't get to 283 pounds just because I liked food. I got there because food was my best friend, my first comfort, and my favorite cure for boredom. Redefining your relationship with food is incredibly hard. Learning how to deal with sadness, stress, and disappointment without smothering it in cheese and stuffing those feelings deep inside was the hardest thing I've ever done. I had to recognize my emotions and then attempt to deal with them more constructively. I spent a lot of time distracting myself from food in the early months. The urge to eat my feelings did diminish as the months passed. I still have to work against those urges every day. Weight loss has given me so much. I have so much more energy. I became the kind of person who was a regular at beret classes. I became brave enough to sign up for aerial yoga. I have transformed into the kind of person who gets off the couch and does something. I'm really starting to like the person I am becoming. I have always been friendly and outgoing. Now I'm friendly, outgoing, and genuinely confident. I feel like I can take on the world. Weight loss is also changing my relationships. One surprise was how much nicer other women are to me now that I'm relatively normal sized. I get invited to girls' night now. As someone who has failed to make friends as an adult, this feels like magic. Overall, I haven't seen much difference in how men treat me, but I'm a married lady in my 30s, so I might just be invisible to the average man on the street. My weight loss does seem to have a positive impact on my marriage. I'm much less miserable to be around now that I'm not constantly in pain and wallowing in self-loathing. Plus, my positive changes have encouraged my husband to make positive changes. Working on our health and fitness has given us a goal to work towards together. We are both trying harder to be the best we can possibly be for our partner. One note, I never could have gotten to this point if I hadn't sought treatment for depression. Years of therapy had given me tools to cope, but medication allowed me to experience a normal brain. It's hard to care much about your weight when you are low-key mentally ill all the time. Getting my head right allowed me to start fixing the physical stuff. TLDR, CECO, and improving my relationship with food had positive changes on my life. And that takes us to our final story of the day, down 25 pounds and don't want to share on Facebook yet. I figured I'd do a little intro post here since I'm bored. I'm finally starting my second weight loss journey. I lost weight about 10 years ago when I was in college. I was always fat throughout life, but really put on the weight in college due to drinking and a buffet meal plan. I got up to at least 300 pounds, not exactly sure about starting weight. My parents were both overweight. My dad was near 400 and decided to lose weight. So I decided to lose weight with them. I went on an extremely strict diet, counting everything. Ended up getting down to 185 and felt amazing. I kept that weight off for a while, but as time went on, I got a little too lax with my weight, so I usually fluctuated between 225 and 250. I have a big build, so even at 225, I don't look too bad. Then, about 5 years ago, I started dating my now wife, put on a little weight and went dating. When we were getting married the next year, I was around 250 and wanted to lose weight for the wedding, but I managed to get up to 275 instead. Since then, my weight has shot up. We lived in Chicago and ate great food all the time. I dealt with a ton of stress when we were trying to have a baby. A bunch of other factors caused me to gain. I tried to lose weight a couple times, but never anything seriously. So, I got up to 373, the highest I've ever been. I knew I needed to lose weight now. We have a daughter, and I hate doing anything active because I get sweaty and tired easily. I don't want her growing up with that. Unfortunately, that still wasn't enough to motivate me to start dieting. I knew it was actually pretty easy for me to lose the weight last time, but I was also 10 years younger and probably 70 pounds lighter, so I wasn't looking forward to what was going to be an extremely hard and long process. Then, about a month ago, I started watching My 600-Pound Life on Hulu. That was exactly the motivation I needed. I saw so many similarities between me and the people on that show. I knew I needed to do something about my weight before I got to the point where they are at, so I said screw it and decided to start my diet after a couple good meals out. So I'm a little over 2 weeks in and I've already lost 25 pounds. Luckily, I lose weight pretty well still. It also helps going from 1,500 calories a meal to about 1,500 a day. I'm not counting everything though, just calories. I'm also finally using my gym membership. I went a couple times before dieting and it seemed pointless. Oh, I burned off 100 calories? Well, I ate 1,500 before coming, so it really didn't do much. I'm feeling way better already, more energy every day. I already have to tighten my belt tighter, and I'm actually starting to enjoy eating healthy meals, which is great because I'm not a huge veggie fan. I'm finally really excited for the future, even though I know I have a long road ahead. And that brings us to our future narwhals of the day. If you'd like to be a future narwhal, just head on over to our subreddit, r/loseitnarwhals, link is in the description below. Our first future narwhal of the day is Galaxy Jax, and they say, 8 months and 55 pounds lost. No surgery, just CECO. I haven't weighed this much since I was 12, and I couldn't be happier. I believe in all of you. And our last featured narwhal of the day is Larry the Leaf, and they say 172 pounds to 115, 57 pound difference. These two pigs are just over a year apart. It's crazy how much better I look, feel, and act. Thanks, Luke, for your videos that keep me inspired and motivated. Thanks for sharing, Narwhals. If you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe for more weight loss videos that help you stay on track. And check out our merch store, which is now live at shop.lukenarwhal.com. Link is in the top comment and description below. Thanks for watching, Narwhals, and I'll see you in the next one.